Welcome back to Shadow Moss. In our last Animal Crossing build, we did this cute waterscape farm for our old man Dobie. It's got pretty much all the 2.0 crops in it, as well as a beachfront berry patch and a duck pond at the front. I'll put a link to that video here in case you want to watch that come together too. So this area is looking great, but the farm is missing a few things, specifically fruit trees. I put a couple pear trees in the back, but mostly I was saving them all for our orchard, which is what we're going to be doing today. So right up here behind the farm is where we're going to put it. This right side will be our apple orchard and cidery. Then over on the opposite side, we'll have a flower/bee garden and meadery. All this terraforming is going to change, and we'll definitely need to expand this area to fit everything. So let's not waste any more time and jump right into the speed build. The first thing to do up here was some terraforming to clear out this area and expand it a bit. On the right side, I'm going to put Cherry's house so she can run our apple cherry orchard. Then the left side will be Hazel's house. She'll have the flower and bee farm. I've seen plenty of people do orchards and apiaries, so I wanted to do something a little different with these by also trying to make them into a combo cidery and meadery. We'll see exactly how I add that spin to these areas in just a little bit. Caring for our own bees and making mead is something my spouse and I would love to get to do in real life eventually. I also grew up around apple orchards and always loved going to pick apples and getting donuts and cider every fall. So incorporating some of this into these builds seemed like a fun, personalized touch to add into my island design. I wanted to turn this middle area here into a shared space for both homes. So I'm making a little outdoor bar with these storefronts. This way, customers can chill out at the bar and grab a drink of cider or mead when they're visiting. A little later on, I also add in some of those big storage tanks at the back to sort of be like the fermenting barrels for the mead and the hard cider. The storage tanks paired with this bar definitely help put a more adult spin on these areas. This place would be an awesome spot to spend the day hanging out with some friends. Here you can see me struggling with waterscaping this little pond. Yeah, my Switch controllers have some major Joy-Con drift going on, so if you notice my character pacing back and forth a lot, or me just struggling in general, that's probably what's going on. I was constantly having to fight my Joy-Cons drifting everything to the left, that after this build, I shipped them off to get fixed finally. Thankfully, Nintendo will fix them for free, so if you're also having issues, definitely look into sending them in for repairs. Hopefully by the next video, I'll have mine back with no more drift happening, but we'll see. Speaking of controllers, I have been eyeing some extreme rate Joy-Con shells, but I haven't gotten any yet. They have cool customization options, but it seems so complicated to put together that I'm nervous about screwing something up and breaking my Joy-Cons all over again. Have any of you replaced your shells with custom ones? How'd it go? If it's too difficult, do you have any recommendations on other ways to customize the Switch? I love the idea of changing the aesthetic of mine, but I'm clumsy and not very careful with my stuff, so I always need the most durable options because I will scuff everything up. So yeah, let me know your experiences and recommendations in the comments. Okay, back to the build. I moved Cherry and Hazel's houses up here, and I'm now working on getting their yards decorated. For Cherry's, I put a couple of these storage tanks in the back here as if they're where she's fermenting the hard ciders. This little stone kitchen with the simple panels is the area for the regular ciders. I know people usually serve apple cider hot, oftentimes spiced too, but I actually prefer my cider cold and plain. Probably not the most popular way to drink cider, especially in cool weather, but I'll take cold cider over a hot one any day. There are cherry trees here too, so in the spring and summer you could come get some fresh cherry juice here. Is hot cherry cider a thing? Cherries do grow in cooler climates, so I feel like it could be. I'm not sure though, is it? If it's not, should it be a thing? Let me know. Behind Hazel's house, I put a couple of wind turbines. There aren't as many trees over here as there are in Cherry's yard, so we needed some more vertical interest on this side. Also, these ladies of course are going to be running eco-friendly businesses, so putting in some green energy here made sense. The other main feature of her home is this trellis, which I made into a little market stand where she can sell her honey and other bee products. All the flowers and honey here would smell so intoxicating. I'd want to come shop here all the time. Even if I didn't have anything to buy, I would be tempted to pay here just for the great smells. And I'm someone who usually prefers unscented everything, but this place would definitely be an exception. Here I'm planning out the apiary. Originally, I was thinking of doing horizontal rows of flowers, but I decided that was a bit too formal and planned out for me, and that I'd rather make a big wildflower field instead. So before I plant all the flowers, I'll fix out terrain paint to make it a solid patch of dirt. If you're wondering what that little flower sign is, it's actually just a customized safety barrier object. That flower pattern isn't even a custom code, it's an in-game option. So once I saw that variant, it was just too perfect not to utilize here. I'm also placing down some leftover fences I had in my storage to help fill things out. I didn't feel like crafting anymore, so I just used up whatever I had and left it at that. Thankfully, I had enough to fill in some blank spots and tie things together. Fences really do help add that finishing touch to any area. So if you're ever at a loss for what to add somewhere, try throwing down a few fences and they'll probably help out. Next, I cooked up some fruit recipes to place at this orchard farm stand. I don't have the apple pie nor apple smoothie recipes, which would have been perfect here, so I just crafted up some other ones that I did have that seemed like close enough fits for what could be sold here. Despite loving apples and going to orchards, I actually don't like pretty much any foods with cooked apples. No apple pie, apple sauce, apple fritters, none of it. I really only like either raw, super crisp apples or cold apple cider. I like the taste of cooked apple things, but I cannot stand the texture of mushy apples. Once an apple gets even slightly soft, I'm out. Actually, most fruits I'm pretty picky about with texture and cooking them. I want my raw fruit unripe and crisp, and if I eat cooked fruit, it has to be either super smooth or chopped into tiny little pieces. Taking a bite of a big chunk of cooked fruit is a definite no for me. And don't even get me started on bananas. They are the worst fruit in existence, and that's all I'm going to say about that. I am a very open and adventurous eater and eat a lot of things that many people would probably find weird or gross, but I get oddly picky just when it comes to fruit textures. Does anyone else have weird issues with fruit, or is this a me problem? All throughout this build, I put down a bunch of the bug models I've commissioned from Flick. Collecting all the different insect models is one of my favorite parts of this game, so I was super excited to put down a bunch of them here. I definitely need to work on collecting more bugs for Flick so I can put insect models all over this island, especially the witchy swamp area. I'm going to need to stock up on lots of creepy bug models for those builds, so definitely stay tuned for that if you also love insects like me. As I was going back and forth from my flower beaches to plant all the flowers for this build, I kept running into Chevre and Cherry, who were engaging in some majorly flirty behavior all day. First, Chevre was talking to Cherry, trying to get her to pick her a bunch of flowers and inviting her over for a fancy dinner. Then, on my way back, they were chatting again, but they were being all hush-hush about it, so I didn't get to hear what they were talking about. I know lots of people ship Nan and Chevre as a couple, and I love them together. I've got them both on my island, but I see that as more of a platonic soulmates or an ace romantic relationship. And then maybe they have their other relationships on the side. Or at least Chevre has other relationships on the side on my island. Lately, she's been getting very cozy with some of the other ladies on the island. All day today, she and Cherry have been inseparable. Look, she's even got Cherry serenading her, and she's not even looking in her direction. Cherry, you are better than this. The other day, Puddles threw Chevre a birthday party and apparently gave her a very heartfelt gift that Chevre got all choked up about. I would have expected Nan to throw her party, but nope, it was Puddles, the silicone bodysuit babe. Nan, Cherry, Puddles, yeah, Chevre definitely likes her bad girls. She seems so sweet and innocent when you first meet her, but she's got a dark, freaky side under that adorable exterior, and I love her for that. Here, I'm putting in some finishing decor into our apiary area. I love all the fossils, so I put down an amber bug one here, even though it may not make total sense. I figured it sort of looks like it could be some sort of honey educational model, so it works in my eyes. I also put down a few plant starts and seeds, so maybe you could come buy some pollinator-friendly plants for your own garden. This is always a great thing to incorporate into the outdoor spaces you have access to in real life. Flowers get most of the attention for making pollinator gardens, but it's also important to include host plants for caterpillars and larvae, as well as shelter plants, especially for overwintering, as well as water sources, careful use of pest control methods, yada yada yada. Since we're on the topic, if you do get some of those bug hotels or pollinator feeders, make sure the model you get can be taken apart and sanitized, or that it has replaceable pieces that can be swapped out for clean ones each season. We all want to help our pollinators, but so many of the products out there aren't easy to clean or replace, so reusing them can spread illnesses if we're not upkeeping them properly. So just make sure you take time to do some research. Okay, my educational PSA for this video is over. The flower garden is pretty much done now, so I'm working on finishing up the orchard area. This side has a bit less going on than the apiary, so I tried adding in more interest and filling things out by putting in a bunch of plants everywhere. Which, when in doubt, throw down some plants is a good rule to follow pretty much all the time. So yeah, that's basically it. I'm just finishing up tweaking the last details, and we'll lay down the pathing after that, which was a long, painful process, especially with my Joy-Con drift. So we'll just skip all that and jump into the final tour instead. Alright, let's go up and take a look at how it all turned out in the end. From here, we'll take this ramp up to the orchard first. My main inspiration for this side was an apple orchard, but I wanted to incorporate all the fruit trees on my island, so I also added in some cherry trees over here, then put a couple of orange and peach trees on the other side. There's a few pear trees down at Dobie's farm too. As you can see, I changed up the exterior of Cherry's home a bit to fit in a little better, but I made sure to keep it mostly black and red so it still suits her original aesthetic. To the left is her little farm stand where people can get a non-alcoholic cider and homemade fruit dishes. This yuzu bath seemed like it could be used for bobbing for apples, so I tucked it into the trees here. I have a fall birthday, and growing up, I always had bobbing for apples as an activity at my parties, so I have fond memories of that game and like getting to incorporate it here. In between the houses, we have the shared outdoor bar, which has another one of those brewery storage tanks behind it. I don't have any of the sparkling cider flutes, so I just put a couple smoothies on the counter instead. I'll have to figure out where to get the sparkling juices though, because they definitely work better here. Our regular customer is this gyroid who blows bubbles. It looks like maybe it's time to cut them off. Moving to the left side, we're at the apiary. Here's our beautiful honey stall right next to Hazel's home, again with a refreshed exterior. Then right in front is our wildflower patch and beehives. This is so pretty. I could just hang out here all day with the bugs and the flowers. That's the whole build. I really love this area, and so many of my villagers have been hanging out here even before it was done, so I think they approve of it too. I want to hear your thoughts though, so let me know what you think of this build in the comments and what you're wanting to see me build next. The fishing area, mushroom farm, swamp? Let me know. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button. It really helps me know what you all like to see, and it helps our channel grow. Yes, because every person watching has a part in this channel in my eyes. If you're wanting to go the extra mile after sharing a like, why not subscribe? It's another simple, free thing that'll put a smile on my face. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Remember, be kind to yourself today, and I'll see you next time.